will move to Dr. Deshmukh. Dr. Deshmukh is a senior specialist. He is a fellow of ICO and FRCS Glasgow. He has a gold medalist from in DOMS and gold medal by Poland. Since 2006, he is working as anterior segment senior specialist as well as a medical retina specialist in AFH. Dr. Deshmukh, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yaravi, for the introduction. I'll just quickly go through my today's topic, that is management of astigmatism in a modern day cataract surgery. A lot has happened in last 10 years in this field. As you know, advances in the intraocular designs and surgical techniques have increased patients' expectations, and it is very important to address the astigmatism in order to achieve an optimal post-operative outcome, because a chunk of our patients do have an astigmatism to some extent. Residual astigmatism of 0.75 or more can cause halos and ghosting of images, and even the multifocal IOLs with diffractive optics are less forgiving. So conventionally, it is targeted. It is recommended that our target should be around 0.25 to 0.5 with the rule astigmatism in any cataract surgery. So how to measure the corneal astigmatism? There is a landmark paper by Douglas Koch in 2013, which changed our approach totally. It shows the importance of posterior corneal astigmatism, which has to be considered in any kind of calculations. And it estimates that the average value of this posterior astigmatism is 0.3 diopter. And the total astigmatism is overestimated by 0.5 in a with the rule astigmatism and underestimated in the against the rule astigmatism. So initially, there were various nomograms were recommended, like Gauguin and by Koch himself. But the later on, the Barrett-Storick calculator with the Universal 2 formula has eased out our lives, and it calculates the posterior astigmatism based on theoretical model. Even the latest machines like IOL Master 700, even Oculus Pentacam and Galileo G6, it directly estimates the posterior corneal astigmatism. So what are the treatment options we have? We have clear corneal incisions on the steepest axis. Then we have paired opposite clear corneal incisions. We have limbal relaxing incisions. Then the latest ones are femtosecond laser assisted keratotomy and toric IOL, and of course last is bioptics, that is post cataract excimer laser refractive surgeries. So clear corneal incision on the steepest axis is the most useful and technique to go for a low astigmatism. As our incision sizes have decreased to 2.4, the mean SIA they say is around 0.35 diopters. But recent work by Dr. Warren Hill, Dr. Koch, Dr. Holade has shown that instead of a mean or a median SIA, we should go for a centroid value that is based on a vector analysis. And that value comes to only 0.12 diopter. And this is incorporated in most of our modern machines nowadays. Paired opposite clear corneal incisions can be done, but it lacks the predictability, as well as, of course, there is an increased risk of endophthalmitis. So it is not routinely done. Coming to limbal relaxing incisions, this was started way back in 1995 by Ligabe, and it was based on nomograms, which were popularly known as Dono and Napa, done by Nikamin and Donenfeld. This is a manual technique which is done with a metallic or a diamond keratotomy blade. And what you do is go on an LRI calculator, and this will go on. This will give us a diagrammatic presentation to how to go about it. And these were the nomograms which were used initially. Then entry of femtosecond laser has revolutionized this approach because of its precision, and we can go for two kinds of incisions. That is, one is penetrating, and the other will even we can go for an intrastromal cuts. And the best part is that we can titrate the magnitude post-operatively. If the result is not favorable, we can open the incisions on the surface with the help of Sinskey's hook. So even now, the nomograms which were originally done by Dono and Napa, they were modified because these incisions are slightly central and they have to be modified according to the value of posterior corneal astigmatism or type of astigmatism, I would say. So various papers recently has shown a very effective technique. This is a very effective technique. A paper by John Chang has shown that both the techniques, intrastromal as well as penetrating, have comparable results, and it's a good choice to correct the low amount of astigmatism up to 1.5 diopters. Even the paper by Alexander Day and Julian Stevens showed the similar results, and their correction was around 63%. They have invented their own website, that is femtoemulsification.com, suitable for a catalyst machine, femto laser platform for the calculations. What was our experience? We did around 15 cases till now. We have gone for, we have done with Lensex. We went for a simultaneous flax with AK. The Callisto guidance was used in some cases. We went for an 8 millimeter arc. We modified Donenfeld nomogram as we went for 100% for against the rule, 80% for with the rule, and 90% for an oblique astigmatism. Depth was kept at 80%. The mean preoperative astigmatism was 1.56, and we succeeded in reducing that to a figure of 0.65 diopter. However, the intrastromal AK did not show significant correction even at 2 months follow-up, but no major complications were encountered. So this is a short video which shows the actual procedure. The docking is being done. Initially, the capsulotomy is done. This is followed by a lenticular crack. Followed by astigmatic keratotomy, 2 of them in this case. And lastly, the main incision is getting done. So I'll just touch upon this toric IOL implantation. As you know, this is a method of choice for correcting high levels of astigmatism as a most predictable method. But you have to remember one thing, toric IOLs can rotate after implantation, and the loss of astigmatic correction is 3.5% per degree of rotation. How to mark the axis? We can go for earlier methods like freehand marking. Then we have a slit lamp method, and there are different markers available like bubble markers. But nowadays, because of the high-tech machines, we can have a markerless toric IOL alignment with the help of image-guided surgery tools, namely Callisto, Varion, True Vision, or we can even go for an intraoperative aberrometry like Aura or Holos. The recent one is that is known as IntelliAxis by Lenser machine. What they do, they put in two tabs are created on the anterior capsule for the IOL alignment, and it also reduces the parallax that sometimes happens between the cornea and lens. So I have proposed this step-ladder approach for our center. If the astigmatism is less than 1 diopter, usually we go for an steep axis incision or a single arc femtosecond laser astigmatic keratotomy. If it is between 1 to 1.75, usually we go for a double arc FSAK. And if it is more than 1.75, usually we go for a toric IOL implantation. So to summarize, for 5 key factors in astigmatic planning success. firstly, we have to always consider posterior corneal astigmatism. Take a value of centroid SI as 0.1. Always remember of that is there is a long-term drift which happens with against the rule, that is 0.34 diopter per decade. And even you can flip the axis if the previous the basic astigmatism is against the rule. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deshmukh.